Ukraine braces for Russia's massive multi-front attack on Lyman. Today, Russia's growing concentration of forces around Lyman signals a major shift in this part of the front line, as the last settlements in front of Lyman are now contested areas. Ukrainian defenders see the danger approaching and Russian artillery shells landing on the horizon. After months of stagnation and failures at Pokrovsk and Kostanivka, Russia's generals have chosen to reorient their main push to Lyman, where they hope to soon reach terrain that could favor mechanized warfare. Their operational goal is to reach and capture Lyman, and then use it as a springboard for a wider operation to outflank Kramatorsk and Sloviansk from the north. According to Ukrainian analysts, nearly 90,000 Russian troops, backed by over 300 tanks, 600 armored vehicles, and hundreds of artillery systems, have massed close to the Lyman axis. Yet, many of these units are formed from prison recruits and freshly mobilized soldiers with little to no training, highlighting Russia's desperation to sustain offensive momentum despite the heavily depleted quality of their manpower. To seize Lyman, Russia is orchestrating a multi-pronged offensive designed to envelop Ukrainian positions from several directions at once. The attacks northwest of Lyman, near Shandryholove, northeast through Kolodiazi, east through Zarichne, and southeast near Yampil and the Svalty forest are not random probes, but a coordinated operational design. In the north, Russia's bridgehead across the Zarichne River is key, as Russian engineers are rushing to build pontoon bridges to bring armor across. If the Russians can reinforce this bridgehead, they can outflank Lyman from the northwest and cut off supplies moving from Izium. Through Kolodiazi, the Russians can achieve a potential direct vector of assault on the town itself if they successfully penetrate the Ukrainian defense. At the same time, the battle for Zarichne threatens to open a direct corridor to the town, as less than 10 kilometers of mostly open ground lie between Zarichne and Lyman. Securing this approach and moving forward would let Russian forces consolidate a second crossing over the Zarichne, reducing dependence on a single bridgehead with fragile logistics. Meanwhile, to the southeast, in Yampil and Svatihori forest, Russian troops are attacking, not only to stretch Ukrainian defensive lines, but also to cut the logistical artery between Lyman and the Sloviansk. By pressuring both from the north and southeast simultaneously, Russian forces aim to create a pincer that will close around Lyman before the year's end, an encirclement that could produce even more problems for the Ukrainians, as they will expose Zarichne to attacks from behind. Each Russian axis against Lyman complements the other, forming a coordinated maneuver to collapse Ukrainian defenses in sequence rather than only head-on. After 3 years of grinding assaults and failed advances, Russian forces appear ready for the long-promised final push, as Lyman stands in great danger. Increased pontoon crossings, heavy armor buildup, and repositioned artillery show that shaping operations are over, and the offensive is entering its decisive stage. Ukrainian defenses rely heavily on the natural barriers of the forest and the Zarichne River with its branches, which have so far limited Russian armor's maneuverability, making it ever so crucial that these Russian pontoon crossings stay offline and the bridges under Ukrainian fire control. In the meantime, Ukrainian defenders are hitting back relentlessly as a Russian buildup and increase of activity have led to easier opportunities for the Ukrainians to detect them. Drone operators from the Ukrainian 93rd Mechanized Brigade have published a video showing the recent destruction of 4 Russian artillery pieces with FPV drones, hunted down one after another, despite being hidden in dugouts and under extensive camouflage. This follows up Ukrainian strikes on Russian pontoon bridges, armored reserves, and North Korean self-propelled guns in the area, all aiming to prevent the Russian concentration of forces and fire support as they prepare to pull the final trigger of their offensive. Meanwhile, Russia lost 281,550 troops in just 8 months of 2025, nearly a battalion a day, as intelligence says total losses since 2022 have already surpassed 1 million. Ukraine's state project, I Want to Live, has released what it says are official Russian military loss statistics for the first 8 months of 2025. According to the obtained data, Russia lost 281,550 personnel between January and August, including those killed, wounded, and missing in action. The report describes a scale of casualties as comparable to Soviet losses in major World War II offensives. Equipment losses were equally severe. 13,145 units destroyed beyond repair, and 48,458 more damaged, but potentially restorable. On average, Russia lost 35,000 soldiers and 7,700 pieces of equipment every month, including 1,643 irrecoverably destroyed. Every day, the Russian army loses an average of 1 battalion in killed and missing personnel, 496 people, the report said, adding that 7 full brigades are effectively wiped out every month. The data reveals a critical failure in battlefield medical evacuation. For every soldier killed, only 1.3 are reported wounded, a ratio far worse than standard military averages. Project says that this points to the lack of tactical medicine training and the tendency of Russian units to abandon the wounded on the battlefield. As of early September, the team identified 128,115 dead Russian soldiers by name. Between June and August alone, journalists recorded 23,305 new obituaries, with up to 420 new death notices per day, nearly triple the 2024 average.